Similar to your engineering and science textbooks, technical reports contain a front matter, main text, and back matter. The main text is the heart of the report and goes from the introduction through the conclusions. Preparing the audience for this main text is the front matter, which includes the report's title and summary. Following the main text is the back matter, which supplements the main text with appendices and reference citations. Exactly what is in the front matter depends on the length and format of the report. In long reports, formats call for the front matter to include at a minimum a cover, title page, and table of contents. In such formats, the page numbers of the front matter are lowercase Roman numerals. In formats for shorter reports, the front matter consists of only a title and summary, with both appearing on the first page, just above the introduction. In engineering and science, the title tells the reader what kind of information the report contains. Unlike titles in marketing or fiction, titles in technical writing are not catchy. Rather, they're straightforward, with small words such as of and to and in inserted to make the meaning clear. For special documents, such as proposals, progress reports, and instructions, the title contains wording to indicate that particular type of document. A summary is one or more paragraphs that present a synopsis of the main text. Unlike mystery novels, for which summaries would be inappropriate, technical reports call for telling the audience up front what the document contains. One important exception for a summary in a technical report is that every detail in the summary must appear in at least that much depth in the main text of the report. As mentioned, the main text is the heart of the report and contains an introductory section, middle sections, and concluding section. The introductory section, usually named Introduction, prepares readers for the middle sections. To that end, audiences in engineering and science expect 4 questions to be answered by the end of the introduction. 1. What is the scope of the report? 2. Why is the report important? 3. What overall background information does the audience need to understand the report? And 4. How will the report be arranged? How much information you devote to answering each question depends on the audience. Also depending on the audience is the order of these answers. For instance, many reports begin with the importance followed by some background before the scope is stated. In almost all reports, the arrangement portion of the introduction occurs last and serves as a transition from the beginning of the main text to the middle. If named well, the section names in the middle should identify what each section contains. In a table of contents listings, those section names should show the sequence and hierarchy of information. As far as the writing of a section, an important audience expectation is that each section should have autonomy. In other words, if a reader jumps to a section, perhaps on a second reading of the report, the beginning of that section should orient the audience. The concluding section of the main text summarizes the middle and provides a future perspective. Although similar in scope to the report summary, the conclusion is written for an audience who has read the main text. For that reason, the conclusion usually contains more depth than the summary. In addition, the conclusion contains a future perspective for the report. Often, that future perspective is a set of recommendations. As stated earlier, the back matter supplements the main text with appendices and reference citations. The most common type of appendix contains secondary information for the primary audience. Say, a detailed table of calculations, or measurements in an appendix to back up a graph that has appeared in the main text. Another common type of appendix is primary information for a secondary audience. For instance, explaining to a less technical audience how a process occurs. One expectation for appendices is that each appendix should be introduced by name at least once before it appears. In a similar fashion, the reference citations should be referred to somewhere in a listing in the text. In engineering and science, that reference listing is usually in brackets. Every reference listing in the text should have a full reference citation at the end of the report. Likewise, every reference citation at the end should have at least one reference listing in the main text or appendices. In summary, the reference listing helps the reader find the citation, and the citation helps the reader find the source.